In this tutorial, you can't have failed to have noticed that at the moment I'm running Dreamweaver CS6, i.e. the previous version to Dreamweaver CC, the version that we are working with. And you might be wondering why on earth I am doing this. Well, there are a couple of reasons, of which we are going to get to during this tutorial. The first reason is because, well, in the previous tutorial, when we were looking at the available layout templates for an HTML page, we noticed that there were only 2 of these available to us. And if you are moving to Dreamweaver CC from a previous version, CS6 for example, you might very well be wondering what's happened to all the other layouts that were available within CS6. Well, the simple answer is Adobe has removed all but 2 of those template layouts. Now that doesn't mean you can't use these previous template layouts. In fact, that's exactly what I'm going to show you during this tutorial. And in parallel, this brings me on to the second reason why I am actually looking at this. It's because I can then show you how using a template and how to create a template will actually save you some time during the construction of your site. Anyway, let me just show you all the other available template layouts that are available within Dreamweaver CS6. By the way, as part of your Creative Cloud subscription, then if you haven't already got a copy of Dreamweaver CS6, well, you can still access it by going to Adobe's website and downloading a free 30-day trial. Anyway, here's the process. If I come over to the central Create New column here, and then run down to the bottom option, More, when I select it, then of course this dialog opens up. And it does look very similar to our version of Dreamweaver, Dreamweaver CC. However, do notice if we choose our top option here, blank page, and then subsequently choose HTML for our page type, well, notice this third column, the layout column. Well, this is now populated with many more template layouts. Compare this to just the 2 that we see in the latest version of Dreamweaver. Now, there is another reason why I'm showing you this as well. At the time of authoring this total training course for you, the template layouts that are available within Dreamweaver CC has been restricted to just those 2 that we've seen in the previous tutorial. However, I've seen quite a number of comments on Adobe's forums asking for all these layouts to be reintroduced, and Adobe seem to be positively responding to this, so dependent on when you are watching this total training course, you might or you might not see many more template layouts as part of the default within Dreamweaver CC. As I say, at the moment I only see 2. However, if Adobe do reintroduce these, then you might see 10 or 12. And if that is the case, then the second part of this tutorial, whereby we create a template that we can reuse, will be more relevant to you. Anyway, until we get to that stage, I'm going to choose this one down here, 3-column liquid, header and footer. And of course I'm choosing this one because at present it's not one of those 2 layouts that we do see in Dreamweaver CC. However, I do want to be able to use it within Dreamweaver CC, rather than just here within CS6. Well, this is all I need to do. With my layout selected, I simply need to come down to the Create button down here in the bottom right-hand corner and click it. Consequently, immediately we now see this layout opened up. It's called Untitled 1. Well, my next step would be to convert this HTML document, this newly generated layout page, into a template. And once I do convert it to a template, then from that point, I'll be able to reuse it right across my site, and indeed in any new sites that I create. Now at the moment we're still at the stage whereby we've generated this page, but we haven't saved it yet. So I'm going to save it first of all, not as a template, but initially just as an HTML document. You'll notice over in the Files panel in my site's tree structure, I've already created a folder called Templates. I've manually created that. However, you don't really need to do this, because once you do save this document as a template, then Dreamweaver will automatically create that folder for you. Anyway, I have manually created it. Now, before I actually save this document into that folder, I want to give it a more relevant name. I don't really want it to be called Untitled. I'm going to call it Starter Page Template Number 1. Okay, so that's a more indicative name of what this actually is. So I simply need to click on Save. As a result, this newly generated layout has now been given this new name and saved within our Templates folder. I'll close this page from view, so I'll click on its tab up here on the cross there to close it. Therefore, once again, if we look at our Templates folder, of course we now see the page there. But as I've pointed out, it's only an HTML page. So far, we've not converted this into a template, so that will be my next step. It's not a true template at the moment. Now, if I double-click it to open it, as we can see, of course it opens up, and at present it's fully editable. We would change this text, we would adjust the navigation, we would add some photographs or whatever. But at the moment it's not a template. It is, as I've said, just a newly generated layout. Okay then, so this is the process of converting it to a template. I'll run up to File on my menu bar across the top and then run right down here to Save as Template. Once I click there, this Save as Template dialog opens up. Automatically in the top field, the site field, the site where this page is located presently automatically gets filled in there. But if you want to change this, then click on that drop-down reveal there. Okay, should you want to, you would choose a different site name. Now I don't want to change this, so I'm going to leave it as it is. You'll notice in the field underneath that we have no existing templates. But imagine we did. Imagine we had 4 or 5. And they were all called Untitled. Untitled 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Well, that name really wouldn't help us that much. And that's the main reason why I do suggest giving any of these files a relevant name that you can identify it with later. Now I'm going to give it a description. I'll call it 3-column flex. And finally, I'll leave the name intact at the bottom and then simply click on Save. Consequently, you'll now see that our starter page that we've just generated, its name up here, well, it retains the same name, but it now takes on the suffix .dwt, i.e. it's a Dreamweaver template page. For now, I don't need this open, so I'll click on the cross to close it. Now you might or you might not see this warning dialog. This depends how you've got your preferences set. What it's saying to me is I've not set up any editable regions within this template. I'm not going to do that for the moment, so I'm just simply showing you the process. Therefore, I'm not too concerned with this at the moment, so I'll simply click on OK. Which means from this point, if I want to reopen this Dreamweaver template page, well, here it is within my templates folder. Once I double click it, of course it opens up. And therefore, if I make any changes to this template page, then really what I need to do so that I retain the pristine state of the Dreamweaver template, well, any changes I make, whether it's textual or whether I add a photograph, well, I would need to resave this as a new HTML page. For the moment, though, I'm not going to change anything, so I'll click on here once more to close it from view. I'll OK this warning dialog again. Right then, that's us set up here within Dreamweaver CS6. What we want to be able to do is open that template within Dreamweaver CC. Therefore, I'll close CS6 and open up CC. The first thing you'll notice, of course, within my project folder, there is that template subfolder, and within there, of course, we see those 2 new files created within CS6. And if I want to open up this Dreamweaver template file, then of course I can do. Simply double-clicking it opens it up, ready for me to make any changes. I'll close it once more by clicking the Name tab crossed there. I'll OK the warning once again. OK then, so that's all well and good if we are using this template within this site. But what happens if we want to use that template in a different site? Well, if I come over to my Create New Column once more and then run down to the bottom option, More, well, you'd be forgiven for thinking that all that work we've just done hasn't actually achieved anything. We still see only those 2 template layouts that we saw in the previous tutorial. However, if we come down to this option, Site Templates, once selected, and then making sure that we select the particular folder whereby we've just saved this template, and I know it's within this one, TT Stockton Heath, well, of course, now in my 3rd column, we now have available that template layout that we just created in CS6 and saved, ready for us to use here within CC. There it is, starter template number 1. Therefore, all I need to do is run down here and click on Create. Great stuff, it's now set up ready for us to use. Right then, I'm going to leave this tutorial here now that we've done 2 things. We've seen how we can generate a layout within CS6 and also how that can be converted into a template, and then from within Dreamweaver CC we've seen how we employ templates either in the site that we are working on or indeed on a different site.